Bonaducci, and you are watching Gov's Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple minutes. This is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent. Hi.
Tony, welcome to Go.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I gotta pat you down though, pal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Got anything on you? Anything I should know?
I got nothing.
Anything weird going on?
What?
Alright, you go in, Tony. Good.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly of The Tom Kelly Show. Yes, this is not the only time I've gotten on my knees in the back room of a comedy club.
The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony on the Knockem Dead Radio Show. You're gonna keep knocking them dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, at Knockem Dead Comedy Radio.
Hey Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot, and you're no fun to be with, and you don't make that much money, and you're not going anywhere in show business, and I hope you get hit by a bus.
Hello!
Do it like that.
Hello!
Yeah, like that.
Hello!
Not like that.
No, that was awful.
The one you did when I wasn't.
Hello!
Okay, save it for when it's on.
Sorry.
God, you know, I turn off the microphone, and you're like, gold. I turn the microphone on, I get ah. Seriously, ready?
Hello! That was an idiot. Damn it. Hello!
That was it.
All right. This is the one.
Hello! 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 Hello!
So, yeah, do it like, hey! All right, you ready from hey?
Hey!
Now.
Hello! Hey!
Knockem dead. Comedy show.
Hello!
Do it like that.
Hello! As opposed to always?
As opposed to now, today, there is no musical guest.
Oh, so yeah, Jerry Lane's upset. That
So fuck off.
It's just Andy and no musical
Yeah.
guest. Hi, everybody. It's Friday. Woo! Happy Friday, everybody. Hey, don't forget, tonight's a big night. I'm going to push this all day.
Yeah.
Because there are still tickets available, and we want to sell them. Clash of the Islands, Staten Island and Long Island, tonight here at Governor's Giggle Room. Clash of the Island, Staten Island and Long Island. Mike Bocchetti and friends, Greg and Rob, Tony Landolfi, and Irene Bremis. A lot of hotness.
Fuck yeah.
I'm talking about Tony Landolfi, of course.
Of course. No, Tony's the man.
He actually is. He is the man. He's
No,
great.
I like Long Island Legend. Again, I'm
Yes.
gonna plug the Conversations with him. Was really cool to watch because I've talked to Tony, but it's usually about topical stuff, like whatever's happening and this person and that person. So it was cool to like actually get to hear like a lot of his story and
Right.
like just
Oh,
him.
yeah. He's had some cool
He's a
things
cool
going.
dude.
Irene Bremis last week on Conversations was
I missed
a really
that.
good
I
one.
did miss that one.
And then tonight, Mike Bocchetti is on Conversations. But don't sit home and watch Mike Bocchetti. Watch that tomorrow night.
Shit at home though.
Yes, shit at
Don't
home.
shit here.
Well, you could shit here.
You could, but make it an emergency only kind of thing.
True. Good point. Hey, it's a Knockem Dead Comedy Show. Thanks for watching. We're live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. Please share this show on all your socials. If you're watching on Facebook, well, then follow the page. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the page. Please hit the thumbs up. I love you, Groucho, he says.
I love you too, Jerry, but more like how a pedophile loves the children. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have laughed at that. Oh, I feel so. I have to take a shower when I leave here.
I have to backtrack. Yeah, so subscribe and follow and do all that stuff.
Now.
Share the show. Yes, do it right now. If you're watching on Facebook and you want to partake in the conversation, you want to hear your name and your comment read, and you want to talk to us, well, please switch over to the YouTube channel because that is where we monitor the comments. Andy is here. Oh, and let's do that too. We're going to push that all day too. This coming Thursday, go see Andy at McGuire's in Bohemia. He needs the support. He needs you to vote for him. As part of the Long Island Laugh-Off, we want to see Andy advance to the next round.
That's a nice ass.
What?
I was looking at checking my own ass out in the picture.
What do you mean? Oh. I didn't know
Did
what
it look
the hell
like
you
it?
were-
Because I can't look at myself and look me doing it at the same time. I'm upping my game with the imaginary stuff that ends up being here. I've been licking it. I've been touching it.
Yes. The licking is, I always find that funny.
And disturbing.
Well, yeah, that we expect. So we're hanging out today. The legendary, speaking of legendary comedians, Peter Bales will be here.
Kick
Probably
ass.
about a half hour or so. Peter is a great guy, a 40-plus year veteran of comedy, especially here on Long Island. Just a great guy. So we're looking forward to hanging out with him. He does a show called Stand Up Memories with the one and only Jackie the Joke Man Martling. So
My friend and yours.
that's right. So he'll be here soon. So in the meantime, all right, we'll start off
Get
with
this out of the way, huh?
with our daily scolding. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
Andy, lift it.
Is baby pretty for daddy? Is baby pretty for daddy? Daddy, do you love baby?
Will you calm down and relax? Take a deep breath. All right.
I only take deep breaths.
Behave yourself today. I would love to see the tattoo on your arm.
Oh,
All
this
right.
one is a memorial tattoo. My best friend was a sniper in the Marine Corps and a Suffolk County cop. And when he passed away in 2009, this is what I got. And Rob White, comedian Rob White, did this for me before. I guess he was doing comedy, but before I started doing comedy.
Okay, so that's very nice. You have a memorial tattoo. I also have a memorial tattoo. That's very, very nice. I also have a memorial tattoo.
Cool.
For who?
One of my dearest friends succumbed to 9/11.
Oh wow!
We were in the police academy together, and we were friends for over 40 years. And unfortunately, he didn't survive.
Right.
But I never got a tattoo before that. I was always against tattoos, and I thought the only way I could honor him is to put his shield number and on my body.
Did you just say on your butt?
Yeah. Where is the tattoo?
It's on my arm.
Arm. Oh, thank God.
It's on my arm. It's a heart. It's a heart with a dagger going through the heart with blood dripping down, and his shield number is across the heart. It was elegantly done by.
No, that sounds like very classic. Very cool.
I don't know if you ever heard of this guy, but he did share. His name was Shotzi. He's out in. I had him in Jersey, but he's out in California now.
Oh, cool.
Very famous tattoo artist.
No,
I don't live in that world.
Yeah, that's not our world. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I only went to him once, and but I don't usually agree with people with tattoos, even though some of them are beautiful, especially on women. But that's not my bag.
Yeah,
but
personal taste. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have my buddy's badge number is part of it. It's at the very bottom. It's his initials and badge number, and then the Eagle, Globe, and Anchors and the Superman tattoo, because those were two tattoos he would never have gotten.
Yeah.
So I got them because I'll embarrass myself for him. That kind of vibe.
Well, it's a great way to I think moralize somebody, but anyway, okay, we saw it once. We don't need to see it again, Andy. Calm down.
Well, there's a delay, and so I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
What did you just pick out of your ear?
Me?
You don't realize you're on YouTube. We could see you, and you were picking your ear.
Nobody's watching but you, John.
That's not true. There's 8 people watching.
Yeah, 2 of them are us.
There's usually a lot more people in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's 1, 2, you're 3.
Who? Andy was picking his ear or me?
No, Andy.
Did I?
Andy just picked. Yeah, Andy just
like
picked. Go back. It must have been a hair or something he picked out of his ear. He looked at it like it was a growth.
He'll see that in a minute.
It's kind of funny.
Wow. Yeah, I
All right. All right, guys. Have a great show.
Likewise.
Andy, good luck with your competition.
Thank you
I
very
hope
much.
you advance to the next, and don't lie to yourself. You do not have a nice ass.
You too.
All right. There's nothing about
The
you.
picture has a nice
Goodbye.
ass.
Goodbye. Yeah. So, hello, Carol. She says, "Good day, sunshine." I don't know who she's talking to, but probably
my original one is actually this question mark, and it was done with needle, thread, and India ink in the dorm room at Hope House.
Needle thread.
Yeah. So what you do is you wrap around the thread around the needle so it soaks up the ink.
Okay.
And then they sit there and just make a bunch of dots.
Oh, I've seen that. I didn't know the thread part. Okay.
The thread holds on to the ink and whatnot. That's only 2 coats. It was supposed to be 3. But then I have these birds.
Right.
And I have my daughter's names.
Nice.
And then, of course, I have this. And then I will... Well, I'm not going to... I'll be getting another one soon.
Right.
Check my social media.
Exactly. Right.
Just trying to think of the right way to do that.
That was very good. Carol says she has 4. We'd love to see them in person.
Under very stark lighting.
This whole thing was not creepy at all.
Yeah.
Poor Carol. She's like, these 2 creeps want to just sit next to her.
Well, here's the thing, though. We're obviously not, since it's the summer, buttering her up for chocolate.
Oh, I'm buttering up just because I like to
that's what I'm
butter
saying.
her
It's
up.
not
Yeah.
just about the chocolate, though. I think this proves it.
The chocolate's always on my mind.
The chocolate helps. Don't
Yes,
get me wrong.
the chocolate helps. Eating the chocolate naked with Carol, that's the goal. That's been the goal, just so you know. John says that is he talking about the question mark?
That's a jail tattoo. Yeah.
Oh,
It's referred to as a jailhouse tat. Yeah.
So why did you get it? Were you in jail?
No, I was in a group home.
So
not by court order or anything like that.
But you consider that like, or most people would consider that similar?
Well, it is like we played a lot of spades in the group home, and spades is very much a military and jail game.
Okay. I have a tattoo of a face on my face, says from there.
That's an old joke. I have a full body tattoo of myself.
Vicky loves her tats. She's 5 new ones just this year. Oh my goodness!
Wow.
So how many do you have? Wow, I didn't know this is where we were going today, but we're talking about tattoos. Well, and you can continue to talk about it, and we'll read it on the comments. But I am going to ask: does anybody know what in the world is going on this morning? All the
I heard
the
cyber attack.
The cyber is it an attack or was it a breakdown?
Whatever, right? Tomato.
Major airlines, media organizations, businesses, police forces around the world are currently being affected by a massive information technology glitch caused by a problem with Microsoft Cloud computing services. Flights have been grounded in several countries, and stores and broadcasters in several countries went offline as the outage affected Windows PCs. Oh, so maybe that's why we're working, because we're working off a Mac.
And still only 11, well, 2 of us, it's still in the single digits.
Because they can't get on.
Right.
That's why.
Yeah.
But maybe we're one of the few that are working. So if you need...
Maybe everybody will be funneled to us.
Yeah, maybe, and we can give out up-to-the-minute details.
Currently, there's a cyber glitch. This is my Tom Brokaw. I've actually been doing a lot more impressions, like during my act lately.
I'll be honest. I thought you were doing Walter Cronkite.
Well, I started thinking Walter Cronkite, but I realized that I was doing Tom Brokaw.
Yeah.
So
you got to get a little more.
I
gay
ended
with
up
Brokaw.
leaning
more gay.
Well, it's the South Dakota accent that's been gotten rid of, with like a little bit of a slur,
right
in there, and it's tonight on the Fleecing of America.
I met Tom Brokaw once, and I thought, a lot of, especially in broadcasting, they use their broadcasting voice, and they like.
From what I understand, this is what he sounded like all the time.
That's exactly right. It was a very quick conversation. It was, I don't know why. It was that I was...
Get your balls out of my face.
Exactly. We were at a gay bar. No, it was at a Pete Townsend concert. Although Pete Townsend has been known to kind of bat, for both teams.
Nice.
So maybe that's what it was.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah. So, and he happened to I had really good seats, and he happened to be standing nearby, so I just said hello.
Nice.
And we talked for a whole 5 seconds. That's my whole story.
Aren't you Tony Walker?
Tony Walker from Governors.
I actually, the other night, used the old Christian Slater versus Jack Nicholson bit that I've been doing since I was 15.
Yeah.
Man.
A widespread technology outage grounded flights, knocked banks offline, and media outlets off air Friday. A massive disruption that affected companies and services around the world, highlighted dependence on software from
they don't think it was a security incident?
That's what I'm trying to find out. Well, like, what in the world is...
Yeah, that's what they want you to think.
Yeah. All right, what am I reading? Oh, AP. All right. Why they're giving us news from Georgia?
Because it's the AP.
They're out of Georgia?
No, it's the Associated Press. It's everything. It's not like... It's like Reuters. Like, you're gonna get a taste from everywhere. Just a little taste.
Okay, here we go. New York City Mayor Eric Adams stressed there is no impact to critical infrastructure or emergency operations in the United States' largest city, including the 911
It all still sucks.
Yes, exactly.
This
it
couldn't
glitch, get any worse.
This glitch also didn't help anything.
In Maryland, they're closing all their official facilities.
Oh man, what a good day to be on trial.
Yeah, right. Brazilian bank says digital services are unstable.
Much like a Brazilian's bikini.
1,500 U.S. flights have been canceled as of an hour ago.
Wow.
CVS drugstores are operating normally. Okay.
Good. This is like, remember when COVID hit and like all of a sudden like everybody was telling you like we're committed to, and it's like, dude, no, I don't care what your emergency plan is for your business.
Right.
South African airports unaffected.
But some U.S. TV stations can't air their local news.
Oh, man.
Universal Studios Japan says ticket sales are affected.
You know what sucks about that local news thing is there's somebody who had like a thing filmed and they're like, oh my God, today's the day. They're going to air it. They're going to air it.
Yes.
And then they're never going to air that bit ever again. They'll do it on their like Saturday morning magazine show.
Right.
That nobody is ever up for or watching.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Some local feel-good story. Yeah.
You could say that Patricia has a taste for the extreme. You know what I'm saying? I'm Andy Plagainos, and this is News 12.
Patricia from Northport,
reporting from Huntington Station.
A school teacher who normally doesn't do these kind of things. Yeah. Microsoft confirms CrowdStrike update was responsible for these issues. Microsoft spokesman Frank X. Shaw has confirmed that a CrowdStrike update was responsible for bringing down a number of Windows systems globally.
No, that's Frank times Shaw.
What do you get when you... Frank times Shaw.
Frank times Shaw equals CrowdStrike update was responsible for.
But it doesn't say what CrowdStrike is or
CrowdStrike
what
is
they did.
I believe it is like defense.
Oh, okay.
White hat stuff.
President Biden's team is in touch with CrowdStrike. Biden has been briefed by the CrowdStrike outage, and his team has been in touch with CrowdStrike and impacted entities.
And he's also changed his briefs.
Well, because they're infected with COVID.
Yeah.
Biden is getting continued updates throughout the day, and administration is standing by to provide assistance as needed. So, all right, so you know what this all means. If you have trouble on govs.com making your reservations for tonight or for Thursday, let us know. Because, I mean,
we'll work it out.
You can always wait till tomorrow or Monday for Thursday. Actually, you can go all the way till Thursday afternoon. But today, see, if I have a low turnout today, I'm going to blame it on CrowdStrike.
Dude.
And then maybe...
Sue.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe I can
This
contact
is Long
them.
Island. Yeah.
Maybe they'll send me money.
Or chocolate.
Or chocolate. I was going to say, just send me an audience.
Send me an audience. Ooh.
Frank C. is watching. Good morning there, Frank.
What's up, dog?
Fremder, nice shirt. I think I just missed the bus. I don't get it.
I don't either.
I don't know.
This is a brand new shirt for me.
Savage F.
Okay, boomer.
Yeah. He said, and then he said to say that in a broke jaw voice. So he's talking about your shirt, right?
Whoa.
Yeah.
See, taking the blue pill makes me think of the Matrix, and he wrote Matrix. Whoa. Oh, is the CrowdStrike thing in the glitch in the Matrix?
I have no idea. Take the blue. Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. Jerry Lehane, hop along Biden on the fence, weeble wobbing to run or not. The runs from COVID oh my goodness.
Weebles, they wobble and they don't fall down. They weeble, they wobble, they don't fall down. I love them. I flushed them down the toilet when I was a kid.
You flushed your weebles down the toilet?
Yeah, in Astoria. I remember very specifically doing it. And,
why would you do that?
And then they were gone. Yeah, they were gone, and I loved my weeble wobbles.
Oh, so you thought somehow they would come back?
I was like 3.
Yeah.
So, but I have a very fucking strong memory of somebody trying to stop me.
Paula Marie, good morning, everyone. Finally caught you guys live. Oh, cool.
Excellent.
Who's Paula Marie? I don't know either. Well, whoever you are, Paula, we're glad you're watching. And what do you mean finally caught us live? Have you been watching? Who are you?
You're a watcher?
Yeah, you're
I like to watch.
And we're glad you're here.
I'm the gardener. Nice to meet you, Mr. Gardner. What's your first name? Chauncey.
Yeah, what is this?
Gardner. That's from Being There with Peter Sellers.
Yeah, okay.
Chauncey Gardner is the name of his character. Well, Chauncey is the name of his character. They give him the last name of Gardner because he's slow, and they're like, "What's your name?" I'm the gardener. Oh, Mr. Gardner.
Andrew Fremder, I took the blue pill because the of the glitch in my Microsoft.
Now you're not
I believe
Microsoft
it.
anymore.
Well, I bet he is.
You're micro hard.
All right. So, all right. CrowdStrike Microsoft outage makes us Mac users chuckle until we try to access our online banking.
Yeah.
If anybody can find out, tell us exactly who Microsoft is. Who CrowdStrike is, and tell us exactly. I know that was
Wait,
weird.
we're gonna waste some time. What's a Microsoft? What's a Microsoft?
Tell us what CrowdStrike is, and tell us how they actually screwed things up. Like what happened? Is it John again? Uh-oh.
Wow.
Oh boy.
I hope whatever is keeping him
Hello.
awake.
Paula Marie is my sister-in-law who watched you in Florida.
Oh.
What did you forget?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Well,
She's watching from Pennsylvania.
No. I do remember you telling me about Paula. I forgot the Marie part. That I swear to you, that's actually what threw me off. If she said it's Paula from John, I would have known what that meant. But I didn't.
She doesn't like me. That's why she wouldn't say that. She doesn't like me. None of my family likes me.
I like her already.
Yeah. Only Mike likes me.
But I like you. How can you say that though? They came to visit you.
Well, they came to visit my wife. They didn't come to visit
I
me.
understand that.
Are they hoping for a big inheritance?
Not Paula, but her kids.
Oh, all right.
Yes,
that's cool.
Yes, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I'm leaving nothing to anybody. Forget it. No way. I'm spending my money. The little time I have in this earth, I'm spending my money.
Hookers and blow.
Exactly. Drugs and hookers all the way.
Hookers and blow.
No, hookers. Yes, I keep on telling you, drugs. That's your buddy. That's your co-host. Hookers, 100%.
What about if the hookers are on drugs? Is that okay?
As long as I don't know about it.
Are there
fine.
hookers that aren't on drugs?
Well, that's a good point.
I was going to say, very, very good point, Andy. Listen, I have a motto: as long as they're breathing, I don't care. Have a good day. Goodbye.
That's great. At least it wasn't like grass on the field or something like that. You've heard that one.
Have I?
If there's grass on the field, play ball.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go, Paula. Thanks. Sorry, Paul, I didn't recognize who you were, but thanks for watching us.
Yeah,
Yes.
CrowdStrike. Thank you, Frank C. CrowdStrike is a cybersecurity firm based in Texas. That's why white hot. They're white hats, right? Like they're to help. They're helper people. So this will be interesting.
Nice shirt. You look like where the Beatles lived for that album.
Yellow Submarine. You. He's talking about you.
Oh.
He said something. Let me rephrase that. Nice shirt. You look like where the Beatles have. Yeah. I took the blue pill. There was another one. I thought he wrote another one that
He did. He wrote something about the blue pill.
And then he deleted.
Twice. Oh, I don't know.
No. It was about the yellow that you look like you're something, and I think he just revised it.
There's a glitch in the Matrix for Microsoft. Oh, no. I read that one already, too. I don't know.
Right.
So it's my shirt's the color of a bus. Got it. Okay.
Not really.
No.
Well, you know what? Maybe the lighting is kind of bringing it there, but not
the
enough.
same thing happened yesterday. Frank was wearing an orange shirt, but it looked yellow on YouTube, and now, my shirt's a lot darker than it's showing up on YouTube.
This really pops in the. Because I'm doing this so I can see it.
It pops on there. Yeah, on there.
But that's what I'm saying. This is a little more real.
Yes.
That's what everybody else is seeing.
Correct.
So I'm just gonna be a narcissist for a second here.
Paula Marie says, absolutely not true. Love you, my brother-in-law. I need nothing but love. Yes, she does.
I cannot do that.
Carol, everything is connected to Texas. Yeah, see that? Go over there, Carol, and see what you can do with that CrowdStrike. I bet you whip them. Carol, bring them some Buc-ee's, and they'll all be good in the world.
It's like the anus. Everything is connected to it.
Just like that.
Exactly the same.
Of course. All right. So, you guys can keep filling us in on what's happening.
If anybody
there.
hears anything, please.
Yeah, we'd love to hear all about it. I wanted to mention one story. Like I mentioned, Peter Bales will be with us shortly.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know,
forgot.
If you don't know, oh really?
Yeah.
If you don't know who that is, well, you should. He is one of the best comedians ever. I was reading a story about a 30-year-old woman who was hiking with her family in Utah. She's 30 years old.
Always a bad idea. There's abductions. There's
well, no, it's nothing like that.
Falling and
she's hiking with her parents.
Hot.
Well, kind of. Scorching temperatures have left this 30-year-old woman dead, and her parents in critical condition. Belly Ruth, B-E-L-Y Ruth. It's all one word. Belly Ruth? Belly Ruth?
Bella Ruth, yeah.
Bella Ruth. Bella Ruth Ordonez went for a hike at Snow Canyon State Park with her parents, Dario and Humbelina.
Boy, they're really fucking just
for these names.
Just whatever. Yeah. You know, let's come up with a new name. Yeah.
Really? Bob and Joe and Carol. Temperatures that day were more than 100 degrees. The three of them suffered severe heat exhaustion. Heartbreakingly, Belly Ruth, their only child, lost consciousness and passed away. Dario and Humbelina are currently in the ICU, valiantly fighting for their lives. Now there's a GoFundMe to pay for the medical bills.
Because of their names, it's making this very tragic story very whimsical.
Well,
because what's Dario and Humbelina? Like, it sounds like
true,
like fairy tale names.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And Bella Ruth.
And yeah, Dario and Humbelina, they're in the hospital, and then the fairy godmother Bella Ruth came down and saved their lives. I don't know.
And their son Faustus.
But then, so somebody on the GoFundMe page writes, they were just trying to have a good time with their family. This is just so really hard to believe. Is it really hard to believe? It's over 100 degrees. You want to have a good time in 100-degree weather? You stay home in the air conditioning and put a movie on.
Yeah,
like, what goes through these people's heads?
I'm not even planning on being outside, and I'm like, when's it gonna rain? When's it gonna rain? Because I don't want to get wet. Because I'm made of sugar and I'll melt.
Made of sugar.
I was stealing a joke.
Definitely not spice and everything nice.
No. Well, that's what girls are made of.
Right. But I just what are these people thinking? It makes me.
Well, I mean,
they almost deserve it for being so stupid.
I hate to say this, but you see their names. Like, it's not obvious that they're living life on their own fucking drum kind of thing. Trying to mix some metaphors and it's not working.
They just dance to the beat of a different drum.
Yeah, they're too close to the tree to pull the sweater.
They're stupid, is what you're saying. They're just stupid.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
You're saying that.
No, I'm totally saying that.
Bella Ruth. Bella Ruth. It's that's Frank. That's definitely Mike Tyson playing Trivial Pursuit.
What?
He just deleted it.
Right, that's what I was about to ask. What he said because I missed it.
Because Bella Ruth is like saying Belarus, but with a lisp. That's what I said. What is Bella Ruth? It's Mike Tyson playing Jeopardy.
Speaking of Mike Tyson, and I even went on about it on Monday. I don't like making jokes about like the assassination attempt, but after it damages his ear, and then you see the memes of him and Evander Holyfield.
Yeah.
The Van Gogh references. I'm sorry, but they were pretty funny.
I hear you.
The man is fine. He's not hurt. He's already been out and about at the convention and stuff. So yeah, we can now laugh. He's fine. So yeah, I did think that some of those memes were pretty funny. The Evander Holyfield one really made me laugh.
Right. Yeah, I and I'm gonna say it, like, it is hilarious to see people walking around with
their own bandages. Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, because and back when Kerry was running, people would wear Band-Aids on their face.
Oh yeah, I remember that
to mock him.
Right.
So I'm like, are they mocking? That's so fucked up. Why would you do that?
I know.
Like, if that's what you did 20 years ago and now you're doing it again now, like,
right.
It's the same people.
The man has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. Peter Bales has arrived.
Hold on, let me get my panties out so I can throw them at you.
All right. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hello, sir.
Hello there.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you. All right.
Thanks for coming by today.
My pleasure.
Oh no. The pleasure is ours.
I'm pleasuring myself right now.
Oh, that's hard to think about.
Yeah,
Hello,
that's
here
a
I am.
visual we don't want. But Peter Bales, star of Umbrella's Kill and Uncle Marvin's Apartment.
I get the big role.
Finally.
I get the big role. I'm
Finally.
very proud of that. I can
You
play
should be.
myself. That's about it. That's my acting.
You played
range.
yourself in both.
I play with myself
Well,
all the time.
I played a pompous professor in Umbrella's Kill.
We just
We
watched
actually
it this
watched
morning.
your clip. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. We skimmed it, but yours we actually
We
watched
stopped,
the whole
yeah.
thing.
A pompous professor. So, like I say, I can play myself, and that's what I hear. Do I have a bit of pomposity?
No, that's stupid people assume pomposity when
When they meet a professor.
when you're smarter than them. So yeah, maybe you vibe it, but it's not your fault. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, thank you for saying that. I think I might have a little touch of bombast. There's nothing wrong with that. I guess.
Absolutely.
No, there's nothing
not.
wrong with that. But
Especially when you
I
back it up,
pick
my
that
man.
up.
Oh,
Well,
thank
that's true. You
Well,
are Peter Bales, after all.
My goodness.
Stand-up memories.
Stand-up memories. We have been booking. We got a great guest coming up.
I doubt it.
But
Because
He's
I know
sitting
it.
right next to you.
That was. I'm going to be honest and serious for a second. To be invited by Peter Bales and Jackie the Joke Man Martling to appear on their show. I mean, it really, in my opinion, in the comedy world, it's. You don't get much of a higher compliment than being invited to be on their show. It's almost like being asked to play the main stage, at Governor's.
Was this your Make-A-Wish? I can only
There's
imagine.
something I don't know. You look
Right,
good, though.
Do
Tony,
you
look
have
fine
something
to
that
me.
they need? Like,
yeah.
What do we need? We need. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun. That's what
absolutely.
Stand-Up Memories is about. It's like this show. We're just having fun.
Absolutely right.
We don't have an agenda. What?
it's just better.
Yeah, you do it on your show. Absolutely right. Much
It's
more,
exactly like this, but completely different.
much more fancier studio. That's for sure.
We actually we tape and then we edit.
Smart.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to our 5th season.
Yo.
It's fifth already?
5th season.
Holy crap!
Yeah, you're going to be in good company. We're taping this Monday. We got
Very-
Tony Walker and
very experienced
and,
hands.
also we have Bobby Collins. So
Really?
Yeah.
In the studio?
No. He's out in California and he's zooming in.
Wow, very
And
nice.
You're going to be there in person and
Cool. Yeah, looking forward to that. And it's a beautiful studio that Mike runs over there.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
Tied In Media in Plainview, and it's a great studio, great
yeah.
space.
And Mike's a great guy as well. So looking forward to that. Then thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Oh well, thank you.
I'm very excited about that.
Thank you.
What's now you've done? You've been in the world of comedy for a long time.
News 12. I've done big.
What?
But I want you to know
The?
that those charges were dropped when I was on News 12. That was the reason.
Couple of witnesses disappeared. I don't know what happened.
They just
I don't know what happened. I was an open
completely
book.
disappeared.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first. Is this the first show like Stand Up Memories? Is the first show like this where you're interviewing people, or have you done anything like that before?
You've interviewed people.
I've interviewed people before. Yes, actually in 1996 I did a year of weekend overnights on WABC.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I used to finish at 6 a.m. That was
Wow.
but it was a cup of coffee,
The only way I'm
WABC radio. I remember it as WABC.
Oh yeah, sure. I remember that.
You remember that?
I do.
You look great for your age.
I'm.
I'll tell you.
I'm.
Yeah,
well, I don't
the
remember
leg
you
aside.
saying that, but I'm a huge Beatle fan, so I just.
Are you really? Me
oh,
too.
Yeah, big time.
Me too.
Yeah, so I probably just heard it in recordings and going back and researching stuff.
When the
but I
Beatles
definitely remember
first
that.
came to New York, they were covering the whole scene. WABC Radio was, outside the Plaza Hotel, and they got over a 70% share of the audience, which is unheard of.
It can't be done. It cannot be done
that
now.
cannot be
Right.
done. What did Howard Stern get at his height? 9%.
Right.
Right. Even when
Remarkable.
they appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, they said the crime rate was, I think, at its lowest up to that point, or maybe even
I
since.
believe
I'm
it.
not
I
sure.
believe
Also, the New York City water system almost collapsed at the first commercial break.
Is that true? Because
That's when everybody
no,
went to the
listen,
bathroom.
That makes me think about a show. The Milton Berle show was on. I think it was on a Tuesday night in the early '50s,
Right.
and there weren't many choices. You know?
Right, 3.
Yeah, 3. Right, 3 networks, and so many people went to the bathroom during the commercials that the fire department had trouble getting water pressure.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, this is rooted in reality. My stepfather's father worked in the for the public works for the water department in the city.
With Art Carney.
Yeah, well, actually, in Art Carney, my dad went to camp where Carney went to camp, and they used to call my dad the next Art Carney. And that's his biggest credit, my dad.
All right. Not bad.
But yes, yeah. The whole water thing, that was a legit thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they had meetings about it, and
Yeah.
what are we going to do? I don't think they did anything, but it was actually true.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
the
Poop rules us all.
So all right, but I was asking about the show because has there been any unexpected challenges or give me the pros and cons of, well, you don't have to give me cons if you don't want to, but
Well,
of
I
doing
can
the
give
show.
you. I'm certainly willing to talk about challenges, and you guys know this. Anybody can do a podcast, but not anybody can do a podcast well. You guys know how hard it is.
It's hard. Yeah.
It is very hard.
We also don't know how to do it well.
Well,
No,
true.
I think you guys honestly
Anybody can do it.
You guys have a
especially-
great chemistry, and you guys are terrific together. I think
thanks, Peter.
you should be very proud of this show, this live thing that you do every day, really, and you know
Fridays especially.
I think it's so great the way you carry Tony.
Well,
I am so happy somebody finally really sees it.
He means
and isn't just going to tell me off air.
No,
he's talking about
everybody else.
physically when my leg falls off. You have to carry me back home. Yeah.
But seriously, it is a challenge. When I did talk radio on WABC in '96, overnights on the weekends, and boy, that was an experience.
Right.
50,000 watts, clear channel.
Wow.
And the AM signal, which more people listened to back then,
Yeah.
but they still listen to it.
Right.
I think older people do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Travels much farther at night. It just does.
Oh yeah.
Well,
that's true.
there's even, it's funny because I remember when I was a kid and like it would be cloudy out.
Yes.
And you'd get better reception when it was cloudy out because the radio waves would bounce off of the clouds.
You are 100% correct. In fact, I noticed that driving here this morning. It's a cloudless day, beautiful day, and the AM signal, which I sometimes listen to, was scratchy out in Suffolk because if it was cloudy, I wouldn't have had a problem.
Right. Yeah.
They of course simulcast now on FM.
You know, it's like a weird thing that I miss from being a kid, like because I was the younger brother, so I was always in the back seat. Is going under overpasses with the radio, and it would cut out for like a second. There was something actually kind of like comforting
you
about
missed that because
you would see it coming up, and
Yes.
you'd be like,
Oh no, I'm gonna miss this.
"Yeah, it's gonna." Like, I wonder what word I'm missing here, and it would cut out for like a second, or if the traffic was bad, and you like,
Well,
while you're
actually,
edging through the
that's a
phone.
great memory. That is
Yeah.
that sounds like the
still
beginning of a
happens.
comedy bit. It really does.
Yeah.
know.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Sirius XM cuts out.
Yes. Yes.
That's good, and it's funny
In the
because
same way.
now I'm like, oh my god, this is. It reminds me of being a kid.
Yes.
I love dead air, because there
You wouldn't
is
know it from watching this.
right. No, I assume that. Well, no, nobody's watching anyway. But that dead air is. There's so many people that it's their job. They're dedicating themselves for this not to happen. So when it happens, to me, it's special when it happens.
Another term for dead air is silence, and you've got to be comfortable in your silences.
Absolutely.
sure.
As a comedian, someone who was comfortable in his silences was Jack Benny. He's the classic. He could take a long pause before saying, and I don't. I'm thinking. You know, your money or your life. Pause longer than most comedians would be comfortable
Yeah.
pausing, but he had a sense for that.
Right.
Be comfortable in your silences, and that goes for podcasts and for radio. Radio is really hard. Podcasting is really, really hard.
Yeah.
And I like to think then, I bet you guys have it too. I have this in my mind when I'm doing a podcast or a radio show. And it's almost like I'm holding. It's almost like football. I'm holding the line. I'm holding. And when I'm holding, the show is going well. The show is good. The show is entertaining.
Yeah.
It's working. But then, and you know the feeling, let's be honest, we all do, when the show is not what you want it to be, I'm not holding. And I get really uncomfortable when I'm not holding.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And you try, like a comedy set, to fix that.
Yeah.
And I'm comfortable. If I'm not getting what I want with my material, I can switch to crowd work and vice versa, back and forth. You shorten bits. You jump to other bits.
Right.
If you're not holding. I feel that way when I'm doing stand-up comedy. I feel that way when I'm teaching. I feel that way when I'm on the radio or doing a podcast. It's holding or it's not holding.
Right.
That's how I say it in my mind.
Yeah, that's
But I know
interesting.
you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, and first off, this is why I love talking to this man. You learn something. I don't even know you intend to teach, but you have so much information. This is why I love talking to you. But going back to what you were just saying, I'm doing this show over 7 hours a week. You know, so first off, I get tired of hearing my own voice. But yes, but I also know I have, and because I'm here all the time, I have plenty of opportunities to say whatever it is I'm gonna say. A lot of times it's not sensitive that it has to be said right away, unless we're talking about before you got here, we're talking about this outage that's going on. Excuse me, but so I have plenty of opportunities. I want to hear. I mean, that's why you guys are here, because I want to hear what you guys have to say. So
right.
That's and plus you can't have a million people talking at once. But
that's another thing, and I know you guys know this. Sometimes what's happening in the room, especially when you have a lot of guests, is great in the room,
right?
But coming out of the speaker at home,
right?
It's gibberish.
Yes.
You can't tell who's talking. People are talking over each other.
Oh, yeah.
And that's difficult.
People are yelling in the hallways.
Right. Yes.
I'm surprised the doorbell hasn't rang yet.
Yeah, right.
And that's hard to deal with because you can't resist. It's fun in here. I've been in here when it's packed. And we're zapping each other and just laughing. And you got to wonder, and it's the host's responsibility.
Yes.
To wonder, is this playing outside? Because you always have to remember your main audience is not in the room.
I will admit there are comedians who will remain nameless who are upset with me because at those moments I'm
right.
Not all the time. When I think of it, I start lowering and making other people louder so that certain people can say what they need to say and other people need to wait. And I've been caught several times, and there are a few people who are upset with me about that. But
well,
I'm thinking about the show.
Your responsibility is the show.
Right.
I totally understand. And I've joked with Jackie about this, that he was frustrated that Howard Stern would pull down his mic at times. And again, I totally understand where Howard was coming, and Jackie does too, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating.
But it's frustrating. Absolutely. It is frustrating, but you've got to think about your listeners at home or wherever they are.
Right.
And like you said, from a host perspective, like when Jackie's coming in here, I know I don't need to really prepare much for that day. But that's fine because, again, the people are tuning in to watch him, not me.
Right.
But I do get a little bit of a break. I can just sit back and let him go. And that works in my favor because he's always funny and his stories are great, just like you.
You have to know how to handle that. When to speak, when not to speak, when to be forward, when not to be forward. We joke about the old days. Johnny Carson was brilliant at that.
Sure was.
Yep. And those of you who are older who might be listening, there were talk show hosts who were not great at that. And I bet you're going to agree right away. I'll give you initials. MG.
Yep. That's exactly what I was
Merv
thinking.
Griffin.
Oh, see, now that is a little
I'm with
ahead
you.
of me.
I remember Merv Griffin.
You know,
He
who
was-
would
yeah.
interrupt
the name.
comedians on their punchlines
Yep.
and stop stories that the guest was on a roll.
Yep.
You know, and Carson had a sense not to do that. But Mike Douglas, an afternoon,
Mike Douglas was my favorite.
he was your favorite, but he had no sense about how to work with comedians. He would interrupt. He would
Yes.
interject at the wrong time.
But that's what I liked about it. I'm with you with Merv Griffin, but Mike Douglas I just liked how it was always a group. Like the one guest would come out, then they would all stay, and it just became real conversation. That's
Yes.
why I liked it.
Uh-huh.
Like especially nowadays, everything is you watch Fallon or Kimmel, it's all pre-scripted.
One-on-one, and the publicist is involved. But see, while the host, and this is why I think maybe a director or a producer helps in like a multiple person situation, because not everybody in there. It is like, because it's comedy, it's like me, that baseline narcissism. Everybody's trying to get out the funniest fucking line and everything. Like
any comedian listening, you're all narcissists.
Yes.
You wouldn't be in the business.
I was talking to Conchetta Coppola last night, and I said, you know, we have to accept our baseline narcissism, because you're not being honest with yourself if you don't. You have to, and you have to be okay with it. Like, yeah, I think I have something to say that people need to fucking listen to.
I got to tell you, I was just reading a quote from Robert Klein yesterday, and he said, Rodney Dangerfield was not hugged enough when he was a kid, and he's still working it out. It's true. It's true about comedians who are just starting out. It's true about the big stars. It really, really is.
Going back to what you said, though, I'm with you. Carson was the best at it.
He was the best. And I was watching a clip from Mike Douglas when he had incredible guests. He had John Lennon and Chuck Berry, who got up together to do Johnny Be Good. And Yoko ruined it. No,
it's true.
It's all the screaming.
You got to.
She was screaming.
She starts, but you got to see Chuck's face
Have
when
you
she
seen
starts.
that clip? Do you know that? Of
course
you do.
I
You're a
have.
Beatles. Oh, we got to talk Beatles.
Chuck Berry's face when she starts, it's priceless. He's playing. He's looking at Lennon because he's in between Lennon and Yoko. So he's looking at Lennon. She's over here, and she starts. Oh. You see me just like that. It's priceless. I love that stuff.
Well, I love that stuff too. And I'll tell you something. I've loved the Beatles always. Follow them closely online. You know, I'm old enough to use the terms early and late Beatles.
I was just explaining Thin and Fat Elvis to my daughters.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
See,
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, and I gotta tell you, I'm getting more and more respect, especially about the early Beatles, more and more respect for John Lennon and what he added. Some of those early Beatles songs that I think I love the early Beatles.
We're just talking about beating women.
Were his. Say that again.
I didn't mean to hurt you.
You can carry a tune.
Not well, but he can.
No, that's better than I'm totally toned.
I'm doing it. It's more. I do good impressions.
Okay.
More than I can carry it to.
All right.
I think.
Okay. All right. But
to your point,
yes.
You were joking, but there is validity to that. Before Lennon got really into heavy drugs, his early stuff just were great pop songs. Tell Me Why, Hard Day's Night, I Call Your Name.
Yeah.
You Can't Do That. I mean, these are really
those
great
were great
songs.
songs. So
right.
they were really terrific songs.
Yeah.
You know, and Paul McCartney talks about there's nothing wrong with silly love songs, and he tended to produce that. Yeah.
Doogie doogie doo.
It's a Beatle beat. It's, you know.
Right.
Roger
Absolutely.
McGuinn of the Byrds talks about the Beatle beat that helped launch the Byrds.
Right.
You know, they picked up on it.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, we're all over the place. This is great. I love this.
No. It's Free Association Friday. I like to call it free.
I love this, but that's what you need to do when you're hosting a show. You know, it's like comedy, improvisation.
Right.
Follow where it leads.
And listen.
Follow where it leads.
Should we
look
challenge
at that
Peter
trivial Oh no, I'm
It's
gonna
a
miss.
Beatle
I'm gonna
version.
miss this.
I'm not gonna.
Do one.
There's
do
some
it.
crazy.
You
There's
gotta
some
do
easy ones, but there's some
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
there's
gonna
some
get the hard ones.
crazy ones.
And it's gonna be all the stuff's gonna be on the tip of my tongue. But
Yeah,
not,
yeah. Some of these are ridiculous. All right. This one's at least from a Beatle perspective. This is easy. What famous rock and roller did the Beatles visit at his mansion during their second U.S. tour?
Elvis.
Right. Yeah. That's all right. Let's see if we can.
I
Find
knew
it.
that one. Which is, you guys are going to know way more than I do.
oh jeez,
I-
I would have said
I'm
Paul
all-
Anka, but that's me.
With him, I'm always like, I'm such a big Beatles fan, and then like I run into like people like him and some of the guests,
now, you
and
too,
like
you're-
probably yourself. and
You're a
whatnot.
Beatles fan too.
I love the I will say I love the Beatles because I don't have the. I'm just like, yeah, I know the songs. I like the songs. That's it. Like that's it.
I'm older than you guys.
I know.
But I actually remember a brief time, it was only months, but all of those rock magazines had headlines, The Beatles versus the Dave Clark Five.
Yeah.
And there was some thought that these were equal rivals and who's going to come out number one.
Well, remember the album, The Beatles versus the Four Seasons?
Yes.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like I fail at a certain point.
Well,
my aunt went to the famous Shea Stadium concert. She won a
that's-
ticket from Cousin Brucey. It was make a birthday card for the Beatles.
Wow.
And so she made it. My grandparents said yes. They lived in Port Jeff. And so when it came around, my grandparents were like, oh, you asked, so we have to let you go. But my grandmother and my mother went with her. My mom's the oldest. And my grandmother held my mom's arm like this every time the scream would come up in Shea. Because they would walk around the World's Fair. She would grab onto my mom's arm, and my mom said she had 4, like, bruises on the inside of her arm from my grandmother
really
clamping down on it. And when Beatles fans would go by, my mother would scream at them, "Stones! Stones!" Because she came down on the Rolling Stones versus the Beatles. The Beatles were like up against everybody. Elvis,
that's not
the
an easy
Stones.
discussion. The Rolling Stones live, I mean, you have to give them their chops. But I mean,
Absolutely
overall,
right.
musically, the Beatles.
My
by
favorite,
far.
my favorite quote about describing the Rolling Stones and the Beatles is that, and I know I'm going to fuck this up, but it's the Beatles are a bunch of lower class lads trying to come off like they're middle class. The Rolling Stones are a bunch of middle class lads trying to come off as lower class.
Interesting.
And I'm like, the more you like, for myself anyway, the more I learn, the more I'm like, holy shit, that is totally true. So,
the Rolling Stones, somebody told me that tour managers every day give the band like a sheet of what's it called?
Schedule,
a tour sheet or
itinerary.
Itinerary.
Yeah.
And the comment from this knowledgeable tour manager was, the Rolling Stones would read it and then ignore it. The Who wouldn't even read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a waste of paper.
It's a waste of paper. Total waste of paper. It's great to run into some true Beatles fans.
Oh, absolutely.
Because young people don't know, and
Right.
it's so tragic. As time goes by, people forget. I asked a class of college undergraduates, all right, now I'm going to talk about a band that has changed history, that had a different musical sound that comes along once in a generation. And the kid down front looked at me and goes, "You mean Green Day?"
Oh.
No, Two Live Crew, you idiot.
Right.
And your heart just sort of sinks. It really does.
See, I have a whole thing about this, like an intergenerational thing. Like, young people are not responsible for the sum of pop culture that came before them, because they have their own pop culture to deal with. And even for ourselves, like I used to tell people my favorite movie of all time when asked, Gunga Din.
I know it well.
I love Gunga Din, but also I would say it and people had never seen it, so they would shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't want to have that conversation, because there's too many things about movies that, like, I like too many of them to say one, you know?
Well, I teach history, and you've hit a nerve.
I'm sure.
you have a right to your own generation's pop culture.
Right.
But you have a responsibility to at least be aware of what came before.
I 100% agree.
I'm not a big fan of Benny Goodman, but I know who he is, and I give him his chops.
But it takes longer for you as a young person to be exposed to that, because you're also dealing with your pop culture, and you're dealing with the history of pop culture. So you're going to trip over it. I hate when somebody's like, "Have you ever seen this movie?" And people go, a younger person will go, "No." But how could you never have seen this movie? Yes, you saw it because you were 13.
Younger people do that to me now. About
they shouldn't be
current
doing,
movies.
and they shouldn't be doing that in the other direction either. I have a problem with everybody. I hate everybody, Peter.
All right, I'm going to try this one on you.
Please.
Which Beatles single was the first to have a picture sleeve in which the Beatles all had facial hair? See, I know, I see that. I'm like, what?
It's a single, and there was a picture.
Right, the picture sleeve.
That would have to be.
Hey, how much was a
starting
single
at Abbey
when
Road.
you guys were growing up? I remember 45 cents.
No, it was like more in like the $3 range.
$3?
It was,
I remember $1.
Madness, Our House was the first 45 I ever bought. Our House in the middle.
Okay.
That I bought that. The side B is great.
Well, that's one thing older people do that's obnoxious, talking about prices from, the 5-cent beer, the draft beer that was 5 cents for the longest time, the Subway that was 5 cents for the longest time.
Right. Yeah, no, the whole generational thing, I have a whole like regular rap that's not funny, so I don't do it on stage.
But why don't you make it funny?
Oh, no,
because
I'm working on all the other stuff that's not funny, Peter.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot that's not funny that needs to be worked on.
I'd love to see your act. I've seen your act before, but
it's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. Again, you hit a nerve. Everything you guys say hits a nerve for some reason. But I also want to blatantly plug Stand Up University.
Hell yeah, no, we definitely
which takes place at. I think the correct term is Governors at the Brokerage.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
And the Brokerage in Belmore, owned by the Governor's folks. And we've been doing it for 25 years.
That's amazing.
Why in the world would you pick Rich Walker to do this with you?
Because he makes me look so good.
He just keeps showing up.
Rich and I are good pals, and we have a great chemistry. Yeah. And we actually, in front of the students, bicker about what is going to make a joke work. It's part of the dynamic of the class. And we drill down into jokes, and we actually had an argument about whether or not the word in the joke should be purple or lavender. And that's how much it matters when it comes to individual words and individual jokes. And, some people say, "Oh, you can't teach funny." Oh, that drives me crazy. You can't teach funny. Well, gut funny, a lot of people are just gut funny. But what you can do is unlock the funny that is in people and give them techniques and structure and advice and confidence when they need it.
Right.
And the reason I finally figured out after all these years, I thought standupuniversity.com, I thought Stand Up University was going to last 6 months, and here we are at 25 years. And the reason is because we give
mental illness.
We deal with a lot of people who are mentally ill, including ourselves. We give new comedians, people who want to start out in comedy, a positive situation, a positive place to do their first time on stage as a comedian in their lives. And that is extremely valuable. After we've helped them over 5 weeks develop their first 5-6 minutes. Because when I don't know if you remember, every comedian remembers their first time. It's like sex.
Right.
Although oddly, I've forgotten my first sexual.
I was usually drugged.
My first time on stage was a lot longer than my first sexual experience. 5 or 6 minutes.
Well, what is you said you finished at 6 a.m. earlier, and I was like, the only way I'm finishing at 6 a.m. is if I started at 5:59.
Oh, that's funny. But, you go up at an open mic night or a coffee house or, that can go so badly and be so damaging and so hurtful.
Right.
Yes.
You know, you've got to get that first set under your belt. And then where do you go after that? You go to open mic nights, which, as you guys know, are tough. They've always been tough.
They
And
can
I think
be
they're
very
tougher
brutal.
now than ever.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
Yes.
I will say this, you know, with pride. When I started, the president was Jimmy Carter, 1979.
Wow. You are old.
See, that's the reaction. I was dreading that reaction.
Yeah. No, and that's what I do is I find your soft spots.
No, but actually it was more of a soft spot. Now it's a source of pride.
Right. No, you should.
And there was more stage time was difficult back then to get, but much easier than now.
Right.
Because there were clubs in the city, Catch a Rising Star, the Improv,
Right.
and the comic strip where I essentially started, that were developing comics because the new comedy, I call it, was so new and they needed comedians.
Right.
And they would develop us late at night. They'd put us on after the regular show was over.
Right.
And maybe there were 4 people or 6 people in the room. They didn't even care if they were drinking. If they were just there, they would put us up to do our sets. It was called late night. You got passed at the comic strip to do late night. And you'd be there. And I went on at, after 2 o'clock in the morning at many times, and was thrilled to do it.
Sure.
Because you can get value out of a set before 6 people, 2 people.
Every situation presents it's the things that can be positive. Like there's positives in everything.
Really?
Yeah.
And now open mics, I understand, are all comics, and you're performing for other comics. But at least you're going through the material, and that can be valuable in itself.
Well, what's great, I take part in the Monday mic. Billy Geyer was hosting it. He actually just recently decided to stop. But we get like 20 to 25 comics. It is brutal.
Where is this?
This is in Mount Sinai.
Okay.
Royal Bar and Billiard. And it can be really, it's a marathon, and it's brutal. And if you're going up late, it's...
but going through the material is worthwhile.
Right. Yes.
Okay, and if you get that's a big reaction.
Exactly.
At an open
these
mic,
modern day
right.
open
and
mics.
it's funny because like we've had discussions about like polite laughter. I feel like it's my responsibility if I'm listening to you and I've heard the joke 30 fucking times, but I know it's funny.
Yeah.
It's just that I've heard it 30 times. I am going to give you a sound so that you know I think that is funny, but I'm not going to give you the full. You're not going to get the full laugh because you got it the first time you told it.
Right. And in the class, standupuniversity.com, in the class, as we go through the weeks, you've heard the joke a million times. It's a workshop. I compare it to, have you ever been on a chartered fishing trip where they have the mate who is on
Baits
every
the
trip
hook.
and he baits
Yeah.
the hook so
Yeah.
you don't have to touch the disgusting.
Ew, worms.
Yes,
And
totally. I
minnows.
totally like that.
Yeah.
And when somebody catches a really big fish, the mate has seen it a million times. He doesn't go, everybody else is going, but the mate's, you know what the mate does? He does what I do in stand-up university. A really good joke comes out, the mate goes, nice fish. Nice, really serious. Nice fish. And I sit in the comedy class and go, nice joke. Nice joke. But that's when I say nice joke, I sometimes do it in the back of comedy clubs when I'm watching other
That's
comedians.
what I was just thinking. You
likewise.
see the comedians talking in the green room and here, wherever. And to me, it almost seems like the unofficial word. Like, you won't see comedians laughing.
No, they'll be like, that was brilliant.
Oh, they'll say
That's so
hilarious.
smart
They'll just look at you and go, hilarious.
If you were sitting with me at a back table on a Thursday or a Sunday,
He wouldn't say any of those words to you.
No, I would probably be sitting there.
I'd be coming with
I
your
might have
drink.
my arms crossed, but I would just nod at times and say, nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And sometimes you can see a comic do 3 minutes with one nice joke.
Right.
But the fact that they got the nice joke means they can get more nice jokes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. I watch a lot. I do. I recommend that if comedians are listening, watch other comics, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and learn and learn and learn. That doesn't mean copy them.
Right.
But pick your influences. It's good to be influenced by people. Everybody's influenced by people.
Yeah, sure.
But pick the right ones to be influenced.
Yeah, you're completely closed off, and you're really not going to grow or if you're not listening to other people. That's I think so. Oh my God, when you hear somebody tell a great joke, I'm so jealous. I'm like, God, that was right there. That's always been right there, and I didn't think of it.
Why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think of that? But
it drives me nuts.
Comedy is alive and well at Governor's.
Yes,
and here we are in the back.
And speaking of memories and going back and talking about the old clubs in the 70s, today's Richie Minervini's birthday.
Today is Richie Minervini's birthday.
Yep.
Very cool.
Happy birthday, Richie Minervini. Good friend, great comedian, godfather of comedy on Long Island with the original East Side Comedy Club.
Right.
Which, he was the owner. He was also a comedian.
Right.
But when East Side had its fursal, that's the combination of the word first and official.
I think we can get that to catch on.
Yes.
Yeah, you're a professor. It works.
You want to say first official, just go fursal.
Right.
The first official East Side Comedy Club show.
Yeah.
I hosted.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And, 110 out in Huntington.
Yeah.
And I remember being conscious that it was a new comedy club opening up. I didn't know it was going to turn into the legendary East Side, but I did walk. There were steps leading up to the stage, and I went up to the top step and stood there, and they introduced me over the loudspeaker.
Right.
And I took my right foot, and in front of the whole audience, I held it up, and I plopped it down on the stage because I knew
right.
something special. And I was
awesome.
the first boom.
Right.
Wow.
I had enough awareness to know how special that was. And it turned out to be more special than I ever imagined.
Wow.
Yeah, small room, low ceiling, great acoustics, just magical. And comedy was new back then.
Right.
Being a comedian was like being a fighter pilot, and
Chuck Yeager shit.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. People think I'm being absurd, but it was new back then. Now everybody's cousin is doing comedy, and can you get him on?
And every pizza place and bar is doing it,
Well,
too.
Yeah, my personal favorite is to say can't swing a dead cat without hitting a...
Comedian.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's my favorite.
That's fair, but it wasn't like that. That's
Yeah.
because comedy had become new. The Catskills where the jokes were.
Right.
Rhyming words, puns, silly stuff that you can get out of a joke book changed with the coming of Lenny Bruce, with the coming of George Carlin, with the coming of the great Robert Klein and others.
Right.
And that caught on. Oh, you mean you don't have to do corny jokes if you're a comedian? You don't have to wear a suit and tie and be totally clean. If you're a comedian, you can talk about other things besides just jokey joke, silly stuff.
Right.
It was new and it was special and it was hot. And East Side used to pack out on a Monday.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
On a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was special. It was new. We didn't know how special and new it was. It was fun. It was exciting.
I love how you're kind of setting it up to be like, and now it's just shit.
Well, actually, that was
I'm not going to say that.
I know it. I know
what
it.
I'm going to say is
like
now it's different.
Yes.
I was actually going to ask that. You're talking about, how when you guys were performing in places like that and you realized you didn't have to just tell the silly jokes. Fast forward to maybe 10, 15 years later, Jerry Seinfeld, changes the whole game too, where it's all observational comedy. Things like, because again, when I'm talking to people like you, and I think of there's that famous picture of Bartlett, Jackie, and Eddie Murphy on stage together, and they're doing some kind of improv thing, and that was the thing, right? These guys would just jump on stage, and Bob Nelson would be a part of it, and they would just kind of make stuff up right then and there, not really have a premise. They were just kind of making stuff up. And then here comes Jerry Seinfeld doing the observational comedy. And it just, correct me if I'm wrong, but it just seems like since Seinfeld, that's all everybody's doing. And it, like, you don't see 3 or 4 guys go up on stage unless you're at an actual improv show. You're not seeing that at the comedy clubs. You're seeing a lot less of the prop comics. You're seeing a lot less of these other things. It's almost all improvisational now, observational now.
Right. Interesting, because I actually teach the opposite.
Okay.
At Stand Up University. For new comics starting out, we don't recommend observational. You're introducing yourself. Your first 6 minutes should be
autobiographical.
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
Interesting.
Autobiographical. Okay. You should introduce yourself, what you're about. You've got to learn how to get the audience to like you, because if they like you, they'll follow you anyway.
Yes.
Right, sure.
And so our class is Seinfeldian, because Seinfeld mentored me at the comic strip. He didn't know he was mentoring me, but I was watching him every night. I learned a lot from him. Not only about stand-up on stage, but about life, the way he looked at life.
Yeah,
and he was so driven and so focused and so disciplined, and deserves every bit of success that he's had.
Right.
But he was observational. But a lot of the rules that apply to Seinfeld and his observational comedy apply to all comedians. And I actually am now completely into first person, I. We tell our new comedians, I. And then you have to explain to them, and it doesn't have to be literally true. It's inspired by the truth. It's not literally true. Literally true stuff is funny for your family at the Thanksgiving table or at the diner.
Right.
But to be a comedian, you are inspired by the truth. But it's not literally true, because there is a Grand Canyon in between making your family and friends laugh and making strangers laugh who are paying a cover.
Right. Yes.
You know?
Okay.
Right.
Absolutely. And you've got to convince comedians of that.
When I first started out, I found the thing that I focused on I didn't take a class right in the beginning, and I've said it to both you and Rich that I would love to take you guys' class just to get a fresh perspective and everything. It's the day and the time, and making it all the way here for me to talk it is the only thing that is my
ancestors helped win the Revolutionary War out there in Setauket.
Not my ancestors. No, my ancestors were probably still in Greece and Ireland when that happened. In France.
Making the souvlaki's for the troops.
Yes.
Well, then it was my ancestors.
Yes, you white guys. Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm one of the few white Anglo-Saxon Protestant comedians on the planet anywhere.
But I know, like, a lot of people are like the funniest person in their family, kind of thing. Like, people are like, oh, everybody always tells me I'm so funny. And so what I was like, okay, why do my friends think I'm funny? And they already have, like, backstory. They already know me.
Yes.
So I have to do something to present myself in such a way that, like, using stereotypes and whatnot, so that people understand who it is that is, because they're going to have a friend like me. That everybody's, like, I'm not special.
Yeah.
There are other personalities, people who have the same personality. So I need to do things to give them the cultural shorthand to get them to the space where they're just going to accept, right, this is like my buddy Richie, and do that sort of thing. And to me, that is...
How long have you been doing it?
7 years now.
And how do you feel you're doing for 7 years?
I am actually I went through a little weird thing a couple of weeks ago, but I feel like I'm in a really great spot. Like, I'm really enjoying getting up.
What happened a couple of weeks ago, and how can you be out of that in 2 weeks?
I did a private party that they hired me to do 45, and I don't have 45.
Well, then
I made it to 35.
That's fine. That covered it.
And I knew I had 10 more that I could have gone, but they didn't. Like, I found out when I got there that the person who the party was for didn't want to have the comedy show there, but this was the mother that booked me. It didn't go that well? I got laughs. There was only anywhere from 6 to 9 people watching. I was on the front porch. The party was happening in the back. It just, one of the car alarms started going off that was parked on the front lawn.
Maybe it was a comedy alarm.
That was the best. That was the best delivery for that, like ever. Like Andy. Like the only way it could have been even remotely better is Andy.
That's great.
Oh, that's so great. But then I struggled with it afterwards. But then I got to the point where I'm like, oh no, I'm doing like my act. What my act is right now, I'm still not where I want to be. I want to be a lot more personal and everything. But it helped me kind of trip into that.
Okay, let's be honest. Nothing to be embarrassed about.
Yeah, no.
So
that's part of the life.
How do you handle bombing? Everybody bombs.
Right.
I saw Jerry Seinfeld at the bar at the comic strip, having come back from upstate from a gig, talking about quitting.
Right.
How bad the gig was. Why do I do this? That was horrible. It was miserable. How do you handle bombing? Everybody bombs.
Well,
I've bombed more times than I can count.
In real time, I recognize the bombing. I start trying to edit, maybe like figure out and go, okay, maybe I'm not going to do that bit because they obviously don't like that kind of joke. So let me start trying to get into other things that might get them. And if I realize that I'm not going to get them, I still just try to deliver the material the best way that I can. And if they don't get the laughs, that's just going to happen.
Afterwards, it's over. How do you handle it?
Oh, I stare at myself in the rearview mirror.
Well, you got to get over that. You can't.
Like,
that's no way for a comedian.
Well, no. That's
you got to
the
get
immediate.
over that.
That's the immediate. But then, literally, by the time to me, I want to get to an open mic as soon as possible, and just wash the taste out of my brain of that. And usually it works, and it's gone, and then it's like, and then you can laugh about it and be like, "Oh, dude, I can't believe I told that joke."
No, it's do as I say, not as I do. I sometimes struggle. Nobody likes a bad show,
right?
But you've got to keep things in perspective.
Right.
Just go out and do what you do gloriously. Do your best. Be flexible.
Right.
Sometimes I drop crowd work. Sometimes I drop material and just interact, with the people.
Right.
But bombing is a part of what a comedian's life is. And one of the things that we talk about as comedians is you need to learn how to bomb. And there's a way to learn how to bomb without making the audience really uncomfortable.
Right.
You can joke about the situation.
Yeah.
Seriously, learning how to bomb is kind of advanced comedy, but...
Oh, it's I see. My background is primarily in improv. I was part of the UCB cult in the city, Upright Citizens Brigade.
Well, that's very special.
Took all the classes and whatnot. So, like, the idea of being in the moment is one of the most appealing things to me about performing in general. So, yeah, I'll sit there in it and soak it up.
Well, I'll tell your audience, I went to Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, just north of Chicago, and took classes at Second City. And
Del Close method, yeah.
Not only the Del Close method, Del Close.
Yeah.
And we were in class, and we were doing an exercise called the ad agency. And about 5 of us were up there, and we're trying to come up with an ad campaign for a product. And the rule was you couldn't say anything negative. You could only agree.
Yes, and.
Yes, and.
Yeah,
which is a basic improv principle.
Right. Yeah.
You could only agree.
Right.
And there's 5 of us. And then with no warning, another guy walks up on stage with a folding chair and sits on it next to us and jumps in. And it was John Belushi.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
John Belushi.
Wow.
And he, of course, had an energy where he immediately dominated the scene.
Right.
But I love improv, and my background is in improv, and I always talk about the Laughter Company that was originally based at the original East Side. I directed that.
Oh.
And in it...
That's in my notes here.
...was... Oh, man, look at the...
Dude, he's got great notes.
You are great with the prep. I mean, that is so
Rosie
professional.
O'Donnell and Bob Nelson.
Okay.
Part of the Laughter Company.
Yeah.
And a improvisational group that launched the careers of Rosie O'Donnell and Bob Nelson.
Bob Nelson and Rosie O'Donnell and Dave Hawthorne, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
The most gifted improv actor I've ever seen.
Okay. Oh, wow.
We had Don McHenry. We had Vinnie Mark. The great Vinnie Mark was...
Who's still out there doing
doing stand-up and improv.
Yeah.
Sweetheart of a guy. And those were truly remarkable times. But I was into using improv to create finished sketches that eventually become word for word, breath for breath, if you're doing it right.
Right.
I am not of the improv game.
Performing a Harold.
Yeah, you know, because sometimes I think when you're doing that as part of a show, improv games, the actors or the comedians doing the improv games are having more fun than the audience. Kind of like mimes.
Well, that's why it's a cult. It's a cult. It's a cult. It's absolutely a cult. The way that it's
one of those things you get tired. Like it's funny, but after a while, it's like, all right, let's do something else. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So we don't have a lot of time left, but there's a couple of things I wanted to do quick.
Who was that? What was the answer to the question?
I don't know. I put it away. I'm guessing. I'm going to guess Strawberry Fields, but I'll try to find it.
I bet you it's something off of Abbey Road. I don't know what.
No, when the Beatles had facial hair, they had facial hair for years before Abbey Road.
I understand that. But
they had it earlier than people think.
Yeah, but in terms of being marketed,
okay,
I'm looking at it that way. Like that's the influence reasoning behind.
All right, I'm gonna have to try and find it. I don't know what I did with it. Oh wait a minute! I think I found it. The Beatles single was first. I have pictures. Yep. Strawberry Fields, backed by Penny Lane.
Nice.
Way to go, man! Way to go!
Useless information, right here. All right.
Okay, there was a moment there when you couldn't find it. That in my head, we're not holding.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh, motherfucker, because I was going to say something earlier to be like, hey, what was the answer to that?
But I don't know. We were on a roll, and then you asked about what was the answer to the question, and I thought, what are you, doing an impression of Merv Griffin here?
Yeah. I just thought he'd be professional and have it fucking ready.
And he's right. I should have at least put that.
I put it away. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'm impressed with your prep. I think it's great.
Well, and I'm not done.
Okay.
RateMyProfessors.com.
Oh, no.
Have you ever looked at it?
I haven't looked at it in 12
since it was relevant.
15 years.
Yeah.
It's not scientific.
I don't know if you heard that.
Before you say that, I mean, I'm impressed. 82% would take your class again.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you. This is and we're talking about, which we haven't really touched upon, a history professor.
Right.
That's the day job
at Queensborough Community College.
Oh my God! My brother went to Cardozo. It's the same thing.
Yeah, well, it's right next. It's right.
No, I know.
Yeah. So 82% would take your class again. One person said, "You are hilarious, amazing lectures, respected." Took them for a summer term, and I highly recommend 4 exams total, which are 3 to 4 essays each. Sounds like a lot, but all you got to do is watch and take detailed notes of the lecture, and then answer the essay question.
Right.
Also completely shaven.
He's really clear about what points he wants written in the essay, and it's an easy 100. He's funny, and his lectures weren't too long either. Loved him. Very tough grader.
Love you, Peter, Mom.
Professor Bales literally might be my favorite professor ever, and ever is in capital letters.
But that means it's real.
He has been better than any professor from even my 4-year, and you can't help but love the class because of his passion for history. He is so naturally funny and explains all the topics perfectly. He made me so interested in the 1950s, and overall, I miss his class so much.
Oh, that's you just made my day, man. Thank you.
Good.
Thank
my
you.
pleasure. I'm glad I could do that. All right, now the other thing I wanted to do, and again, we don't have a lot of time. If we go a few minutes over, so what? If that's all right with everybody.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, as a history guy, as a guy who follows politics, I'm not getting into politics, but I'm curious to your, like for instance, it's been a crazy week in politics, and you have, the famous comedy musical duo Tenacious D. That's Jack Black and Kyle Glass. As a comedian and a guy who follows politics closely, how do you? If you're not, are you familiar with the Tenacious D and what they did?
I'm not actually.
Okay, so
because I'm old.
Okay,
do you know who Tenacious D is first?
Right, Jack Black.
Yes.
It's
I read that story in Australia. What happened?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I read that.
So they're a comedy band.
Music.
Yes.
But of course Jack Black is, but so not Jack Black, but the other guy, Kyle Gass. He made he said something about too bad they missed Trump. I forget the exact statement, but he said something along.
I don't even think he said Trump's name. I think he said they
No.
missed.
No, he said
because it wasn't.
They came out and presented him with somebody presented him with something, and
Right.
he said no. He did say Trump. He said
Did
something
he?
about next time they won't miss Trump or something. I forget
Right,
the
right.
exact. And of course, there's backlash. And Jack Black, has
Canceled
come.
shows.
Yeah, they canceled the rest of their tour, and Jack Black has come out and said, I had nothing to do with this, completely separating himself. So, as a political guy and a comedian, how do you feel about comedians that get really deep into that stuff? And do you feel they're separating an audience? Do you feel that they need to establish themselves as a political comedian first? Do you feel they shouldn't do any of it all? How do you?
Good question. Fair question.
Thanks.
And I was, it's a very good question. And you know how I know it's a very good question? Because I'm not entirely comfortable.
Oh, we don't have to talk.
No,
I'm not even.
That's your job. That's your job.
No, I like comfortability.
No,
You
no,
don't-
no,
and
no.
I'm not looking for your political affiliations.
I'm telling you,
Okay.
you have just shifted the tone of the show.
Yes.
And that's your job, and I applaud you for doing it.
Thank you, Peter.
Get me
Dance, Peter.
Get me outside. Get me outside of my comfort level. Listen, I will talk. I teach American government and politics.
Right.
And I will talk about I'm very opinionated about all of it, and I'll talk forever about politics. You want to go out and get coffee. But what I tell my comedy students is you want everybody to like you.
Right.
You've got an audience. You want
Yes.
100% of the audience to like you and laugh. Your job is to do a show, not to make a point. If you can make a point and get a laugh, fine.
Sure.
But you want
The laugh's the
100% of the
important
people with you, and our country's very divided. Why would you want to alienate 50% of the audience? That's my view. For me personally, some comedians, if they want to make themselves political comedians, fine, that's their choice. You can
Right.
have a career at that. But it's not an easy career, and remember, current events really move quickly, and
Right.
We
you might
literally
spend a
before
lot
we
of-
started,
spend
yeah.
a
We talked
lot
about
of
that.
time on a joke, and I got this joke working, and I can't do it anymore because
Right.
I remember in the '90s during the Iraq, during Desert Storm. I'm sorry.
Gulf War.
With Scud missiles. That was the number one term. The Scud missiles
Right.
are raining down. Scud missiles.
Yeah.
And somebody had a great joke about Scud missiles, but even before the 2000s, nobody knows what a Scud missile is
Right.
today. You couldn't
Right.
do the joke.
Right.
What's the point? Unless you're making a choice to be a political comedian.
Right. But that's got to be hard then if you're, let's just say I just graduated your class and that's what I wanted to do. Like, because you must go through years of chasing away a certain percentage of the audience before you become known. And I'll use one example. I'm not saying anything good or bad about him, but Kevin Downey Jr., who's kind of known as, you look at his Facebook, you listen to his radio show, he's very right. He's very much a Republican. But I would think as he's coming up, when he first started, he must have been chasing people away until he became known as a Republican comedian, because now you know what to expect to go when you go
I don't
see
think
him.
his act was particularly political when I first saw him.
All right, but at some point in his career,
Right.
he had to start doing that. So whenever it is, in the beginning, after he's famous, like you're definitely chasing people away.
No,
so
you're right.
you have to take that chance and just until you get there. I guess. I mean, but that's
You
a big
do.
risk.
You do. It is a big risk. But I'll tell you something about Kevin Downey Jr. I don't agree with him on anything politically.
Sure.
But you have to give him credit. He is one funny.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
comedian.
jokes are different. Yeah.
Extremely terrific. I can't believe I said extremely terrific. Wow. No,
Just got this language.
Recently, in the green room here at Governor's, with a whole bunch of comedians around, I put my arm around Kevin Downey Jr., or he put his arm around me, and he said to a group of assembled comedians, Peter and I don't agree on anything, but we 100% agree on comedy. And I talked to Kevin a lot about comedy, and we do 100% agree. He's got if it works, it works. And that meant a lot to me. And it's hard. You have to make an effort when you disagree with somebody politically to
sure.
like them. But you know what my motto is as a teacher of comedy or history? Good, intelligent people can disagree about fundamental issues. And you've got to remember that. And it's so hard when they infuriate you.
Yeah.
But don't hate somebody just because you disagree with them.
Right.
Not easy to do. Not easy to do. And I have a good, friendly relationship with Kevin Downey Jr., and I respect his views on comedy and his act.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
No, his act is fantastic.
Is fantastic.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
But I don't encourage my students to do political humor. But if it's in you, if that's what you want to do, don't be set in your ways. I mean, we have our stand-up university, I, topic, premise, punchline, philosophy. But if you want to go in a different direction, we'll help you with that too.
Right.
What about a ventriloquist? You said before there aren't that many prop comedians.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to be a prop comedian. You got to carry all this stuff around.
Right.
And prop comedians, when they have to fly to a gig, are stressed the whole time.
Yeah. Checked bags.
About checked bags.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
John Ferrantino, the comic magician, used to talk about how, you know, he had all of his tricks and everything. He's stressed over are they going to arrive at the gig? You know,
and are they going to be damaged?
Are they going to be damaged? You know, Otto and George famously.
Right.
The dummy was stolen. You know,
right.
But comedy can be anything. Whatever. You know what? The bottom line is, if it works, leave it in.
Yeah.
How about that?
Right.
If it's you don't decide what's funny, the comedian doesn't decide. The audience decides.
Right.
I actually, at one point in my act, had a joke. I'm thinking, I don't even get that joke, but if I say it, they laugh.
Right.
I forgot I didn't even get it.
Yeah.
Didn't even get my own. Didn't even get my own joke, but if I say it, they all laugh. So I'm going to keep saying it.
It's like running a fern for office. Like that's like that. It's like the same thing.
But if it works,
wow, the fern is doing better than that guy.
Oh, that's great.
It's funny.
All right. Well, we're going over. So
we're going over. What is this, Howard Stern?
Yeah, true. I think lately I feel like I'm going over every day.
So I thank you for doing all that prep. Did you miss anything big?
Let's see. What else do I have here?
8 inches.
Yeah, you want to talk about my experience at camp? Yeah. I'm sure that came up. Here's a great joke. I used to work at a fat camp.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
it was a great job. I used to get like $15 for a Snickers. I should bring that joke back.
That's funny.
That's a funny joke, isn't
it? I didn't mention that you've written some books. I didn't get into any of that.
A humorous look at American history.
Yeah.
Yeah. A funny thing happened on the way to the 21st century. I've written a novel, Long Live Long Island, too.
Oh, no.
I sometimes sell it after my shows. I should do that.
I'd like to read that one.
Yeah.
Is it in libraries or?
It is in some libraries.
Because I don't want to give you a fucking dime.
No, it's in. Well.
On that note, no, you got to buy it.
If you're ever in a bookstore, go to the dollar bin. It's in there.
It's holding up the table.
Yes.
Of course.
It's one of those.
Of course, there's credits here that I didn't mention. Comedy Central, Lifetime, Fox, A&E, VH1, MTV, and Sirius XM. One question I had, is there anybody in comedy that you haven't met?
Oh, yeah. I haven't met.
Who you want to meet? Who do you want to meet that you haven't met?
I haven't met that I want to meet?
Yeah.
There's nobody that I want to meet. Meeting somebody, hi, how are you? Shake hands. I guess that's nice, but that's not what I'm into. I'm into a long conversation.
Yeah, and that's right. After somebody who you'd like to talk shop with.
Steve Martin.
Oh, nice.
Oh man, for sure.
Yeah, we talk about him all the time.
Huge.
I think I have met him, but I never had a long.
Okay.
Heart-to-heart conversation with Steve Martin would be my number one. He's a genius.
I think I'm with you on
he
that.
really is truly.
He's truly a genius.
Yes.
And when I was, again, in college in the 70s, I saw him at a live performance in a room with between 50 and 60 people, and it was back in the the 60s was still alive, and we were sitting legs akimbo on the floor, literally, of a coffee
Crisscross
shop.
applesauce.
Yeah. You can't say Indian style. You have to say
crisscross applesauce.
right.
pretzel
Yeah.
style or crisscross.
Crisscross applesauce.
And he did his full out show that he would do later in arenas for us, the 50. And I was right in the front row.
Oh my God.
And there was a time there in the 70s when his bags were totally packed, but he hadn't hit yet. And like he said, he did 14 Tonight shows, and then on the 15th one, all hell broke loose.
Right.
And I saw him, I think, with those 60 people right after the 14th, before the 15th.
Oh, wow.
Right before, because months later he was, doing
selling
arenas.
out.
My mother saw in the 60s at Westbury Music Fair, she went to see, I think it was Dionne Warwick. And the opening act was this unknown comedian named Steve Martin.
Oh, wow.
Man.
And she said the whole place, when he started, because he was so outrageous back then, she said the whole place was just, but by the end of his set, she said they were
You guys
hysterical.
talk a lot about Steve Martin. You both
We do.
love Steve Martin?
Yeah, both of
I
us,
read
yeah.
I read his first the first part of his autobiography. I don't know how
And
you
I
say
wish
that.
his upcoming show at CW Post wasn't so damn expensive, because otherwise
Well,
I'd
I'm
go.
going. I'm going.
You-
You pointed it out to me. My wife got tickets for us. I'm totally going.
Martin
there.
Short, too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that special. It was terrific.
That special
It's
is
funny. It's so
fantastic.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
So hysterically funny. But
Yeah.
Steve Martin had his moment in history. He was in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely.
The 60s didn't end on January 1st, 1970.
Or January 1st, 1971. Keep going.
I know what you're talking about.
And I know what you're saying. You
I
called it
totally
the 60s.
agree
You
with
didn't
you.
call it the sixth. You didn't call it the sixth decade. I recognize that.
No,
But I'm also making a math
There
point.
is no year zero, is what you're saying.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so.
Oh my God! Thank you for being here, Peter.
You're right.
Oh my God! I don't feel crazy anymore. All right, sorry.
Well, do you know that they celebrated the right beginning of the 1900s?
In 1901.
But the country had changed, and we didn't celebrate the right beginning of the 2000s.
Right.
But they understood
Yes.
intellectually.
Yes.
We're getting off track here. But,
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway.
That's me and my mathness.
Now, what was I typing?
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin.
Yes.
Right place at the right time.
Oh, yeah, right place at the right time. Thank you.
Sorry.
So the 60s really ended, the whole revolution of the 60s ended with two things: the end of the Vietnam War and the resignation of President Nixon.
Right.
And in the 60s, everybody's going to a meeting and going to a protest and reading this book about the issues. And when the 60s ended, everybody was fed up with the 60s. Tired of the
Malaise.
protesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
What people wanted to do was forget.
Yeah.
They wanted to do what Americans do best, which is make money and party and be silly. And Steve Martin had a silly act.
Yeah.
Mort Saul in the 60s used to come on stage with the day's
The
newspaper
newspaper.
under his arm.
Yeah.
And Steve Martin had this silly act, and he hit just when Americans are like, oh, thank God. We don't have to listen to these diatribes anymore.
Right.
Let's just forget about Nixon. Let's forget about the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Let's forget about, protesting and perfect timing.
Yeah.
Right.
Just and he was the guy to do it, and he deserves it, and he's brilliant.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
I've never had I would love to have a longer conversation with him.
And we would love to have a longer conversation with you.
On that note.
Let's pick this up again sometime soon.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah,
I'd
sure.
love to come in.
Yeah.
that would be great.
And we're gonna be taping with Tony Walker Monday.
Very excited. Thank you.
You
Again,
know,
very
We're
very
gonna be
flattering.
we're gonna be a little different on Monday.
Okay.
Because we're gonna try to be good.
They have an outfit they want. They have a certain. They have
I
a,
got you.
Yeah, they have a certain outfit they want you to wear.
Yeah, we want.
It's a little uncomfortable, but I think you'll get used to it.
Do you have a sundress that you can put on?
They invited me, but they didn't.
What are your thoughts on heels?
This is just to let everybody. I'm like a production assistant or something.
Right,
That's
right,
why they asked me to come in. Like, can you serve our guests? Some.
You're going to be
drinks and
the
stuff?
ottoman
Do you know-
for Bobby
do you know
Collins to
what
put
we
his
wanna
feet up
do?
on.
You know what we want to do? The show's standupmemories.com.
Very big on
And-
the internet, this old
Yes,
guy.
standupmemories.com is my podcast with Jackie the Joke Man Marling. And it is exactly what the title says it is. And it's just, we're going to start talking. The time will go really, really quickly.
Oh, I'm sure.
And just funny stories and memories about your experiences in comedy.
Cool.
Cool.
I mean, no
a
pressure
ton of 'em.
whatsoever. Try to get a word in edgewise with Jackie.
Right. Oh, believe me, I know.
And but it's just fun. And thanks for doing it. Thanks for the time I was.
It flies.
Yeah, no, it really did
flies.
fly.
I guess we did an hour, more than an hour 10, and it flew by.
Since
And
you've
we
been
were
here,
all.
yeah.
You know what? I love the freeform here. I really do. You guys are freeform, totally.
Yeah.
Damn.
I do too.
All right.
Thank you. This is great. Again, love to do it again. Always such a pleasure sitting and
Oh,
talking
you
with
guys are great. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
So standupuniversity.com, standupmemories.com. Season 5 coming soon. And now for Andy, don't forget this Thursday at McGuire's,
Covering me.
part of the Long Island Laugh Off. Andy needs support, and he needs people voting for him.
I don't know if people vote, but laugh.
Well, yeah. The laughing
Please.
is usually like, I don't know,
I
kind of
swear
like
I'll
a
be
gauge,
funny.
right?
I swear, baby, I'll be funny this time.
And, of course, don't forget tonight, right here in the Giggle Room, Mike Pacchetti and friends, Tony Landolfi, Irene Bremis, Greg, and Rob. That's a Gov's Comedy Club podcast production. So please come down to these shows. And I'll quickly flash some other shows that are coming up soon. Joey Cola's this weekend. A lot of great Anthony Rodia's tonight. Nikki Smiggs is playing this weekend at Governor's. Who else? Sean Donnelly is playing this weekend. Lots of great. Don't forget Mark Hirschman, August 8th. Knockem Dead Comedy. We got some murder mysteries coming up at some of the Governor's locations. We got our trivia show coming up. We have. Oh, I should have asked Peter about this too. Claudia Sherman.
Claudia Sherman. I've worked with her, of course.
She kind of disappeared from the scene for a while. She's making her way back, and she'll be here at the Giggle Room on October 5th. That's also a Gov's Comedy Club podcast production, so we're looking forward to that.
Oh, that's terrific.
We have another night with Mike Pacchetti coming up in November. Lots of great stuff happening.
So you sum up, as a teacher, you sum up and you say, if you go to govs.com,
exactly,
you can see the calendar, you can see everything coming, and the 3 Governors Clubs.
Back me up. I do that, don't I?
He does do that. No,
He does do that. You know what?
I think
really,
it's 'cause you're
that
here.
was my fault because
His knee is
I'm a
weak.
guest and I thought I was the host all of a sudden.
That's fine.
But I can't
It's a team effort, baby.
help the summing up at the end of the class.
Tell him what you're going to tell him. Tell him, and then tell him what you told him.
Tell him what you're going to tell him and tell him what you told. Oh, you know that.
Tell him what you're going to tell him.
makes
Tell
total
him, and
sense.
tell him what you told him. It's something I learned in the Air Force as part
Very
of
nice.
professional military education.
But it's kind of like Apple too. You know, tell them what they need.
Right.
And you need the iPhone.
Exactly.
I do.
And of course, let me also say Knockem Dead Comedy. Go to knockemdeadcomedy.com to see our full schedule and see how you could get information, how you can hire us for your event, fundraising event, corporate event, private event, whatever it is. Game shows, murder mysteries, and more. All right. So we're out of here. The only thing left on Gov's Comedy Club podcast today, Don Sill, tonight at 8 o'clock with Mike Pacchetti. So you can see Mike Pacchetti on our Facebook page, or YouTube channel, but come see him live here tonight first.
Everywhere I turn,
Pacchetti. All right. Thank you once again, Peter. Don't forget, we're not here next week, next Friday.
Thank God.
So, but,
It'll be my post. I'll either be dead or have moved on.
You know, are you like that on
No.
stage with the "I'm going to be dead"?
No,
Maybe that's
no,
the
no,
problem.
no.
Is that your opening line? Hello,
Right.
everybody. I'm going to be dead.
All right, if you don't laugh, I'm going to kill myself. Yeah, I start off every act like that.
So I hope it goes well. And
Thank you.
but I'm actually kind of bummed. I would love to be here the next day to talk about it. But all right. But so that's it. Don tonight, and then Monday, Coffee with the Dog, of course, at 9 a.m. And then I'm here 11 a.m. Allison Chadwick will be my guest on Monday. So there we go. Thank you again, guys, and thank you
Thank
everybody.
you.
Enjoy the rest of your Friday.
All right.
See you guys later.